Hello everyone, Rochelle here, and today I'm going to be showing you all how to make a double crochet headband. So for this project you are going to need a yarn needle for weaving in those ends. You're going to need a pair of scissors. You're going to need a size I crochet hook, which is a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. And you are going to need some scrap yarn. I measured this yarn, I weighed it. It is 1.1 ounces of yarn, so you really don't need a lot of yarn for this project. Just some scrap yarn will do. This is a number 4 worsted weight yarn, and you can use whatever size or weight yarn you want. You'll just have to adjust your crochet hook accordingly. But I'm going to be using this number 4 worsted weight yarn. Alright, so let's get started. What we're going to do is we're going to do a slip knot. There's our slip knot. And I'll do it one more time. There's our slip knot. And we are going to do a chain of 50. You want to make sure your chains are nice and loose. Okay, that is 50 chains. So without twisting our chain, we are going to join to the first chain stitch. And that first chain stitch is right there. So we're going to slip stitch there. So we're going to insert our hook, yarn over, and pull through both loops. And there we have our chain, or our slip stitch into our chain. Now what we're going to do is we are going to chain 3. And we are now going to double crochet into the next stitch. So for our double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert our hook into the stitch, yarn over again, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2. So therefore we have our double crochet. And we are going to double crochet all the way around till we get to the back. And we're just going to keep going. So it's yarn over, insert to the stitch, yarn over, go through 1, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2 more, and we're just going to keep all the way around. So just keep going, and I am going to meet you all right here when I am done. Okay, so I am almost at the end. So we're just going to keep going. Okay, so we have made it all the way back around. So what we're going to do is we are going to join to the top of that chain 3 space. And we're just going to simply do a slip stitch. So we're going to go through both of the top loops, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops. So I like to count my stitches and see how many I have, because each time we go around we should have the same amount of stitches. Alright, so I ended up with 50 stitches. So each time we go around we should have 50 stitches. So for the next round we are going to chain 3, there's our chain 3, and we are going to double crochet in the next stitch, and we are going to insert into that next stitch through both loops. There's our double crochet, and that chain 3, it does count as our first double crochet, and we are going to double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And I'm going to do a double crochet all the way around to the halfway point, and then I will meet you all again here at the beginning. Alright, so I have reached the halfway point on that row. Okay, so I'm almost back to the beginning of the row. So I'm just going to finish up here. That's our last stitch. And now we are going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 space. Alright, so we are at the end of row 2, and I'm going to just simply count my stitches to make sure we are still good with the 50 stitches. And I like to count my stitches by 5. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and 50 stitches. So we are good to go. Alright, so we are now on to row 3. I like to, when I make my headbands, I like for them to be 5 rows. 5 rows is going to get you a nice headband. You can use it as an ear warmer as well. So it's good for all year round use. You can use it to just hold your hair back, use it as a hair accessory, or if it's cold, you can use it as an ear warmer. And you can also add more rows to it. But I usually go with 5 rows. So we're going to chain 3, and we're just going to repeat row 2. We're going to do a double crochet in front of that, into that next stitch, and you're just going to double crochet all the way back around. So I am going to do a few more of these, and then I'm going to meet you all back here at the beginning. Okay, so I will see you all at the beginning. Alright, so we are almost back to the beginning. So I'm just going to finish this row. And now we are going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 space. Now if you want, you can stop here and count your stitches again. I usually count every 2 rows just to make sure that I'm okay. So we have completed 3 rows now. And I am going to go to 5 rows. And so I'm going to now chain 3. And I'm going to double crochet into the next stitch. And I'm going to double crochet it all the way around. And this headband, it can be modified for different head sizes. If you want to make it for children, you can use a lesser amount of chains. If you want to make it for someone who may have a larger head, you can always add chains at the beginning. So it's up to you. You can really customize this however you would like. Okay, so I am going to meet you all back at the beginning of this row. I am now almost back around to the top of the 4th row, so I'm just going to finish. And we are going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 space. And another way to customize this headband is if you can also switch up the colors. You don't have to do just solid colors. If you want, you can add a stripe in there, just change up the color. For example, I made this headband and I did 2 rows of yellow, then I switched to black, and then I did 2 more rows of yellow. So you can customize it that way as well, and that's how I did that one. So if you want to change it up, put a different color in there, you can definitely do so. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to keep it with one color, but feel free to change it up with a different color. Now I am going to start on my 5th and final row. So we are going to chain 3, and we are going to double crochet into that next stitch. And we are going to double crochet all the way around. And I will meet you all back at the beginning. Okay, so now I am back, almost back to the beginning of that row, that last row 5. Okay, so I'm going to slip stitch into the top of that chain 3 space. So there is my slip stitch. Okay, so there it is. That's our finished headband. So at this point, I'm going to cut the tail there. And I like to leave myself about 5 inches so I can weave in the end. So we'll cut about here. And when I finish up my projects, I like to use an invisible join. And basically that means that when I join this, it's going to look like another stitch. So we're going to pull that tail out. Thread our needle. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to skip over that one, but I'm going to insert my needle into the back loop here. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the back loop of this one. So we're going to go back one. So when you pull that together, see that? Just looks like it continues. So I'm going to do that for you all one more time. Go ahead and take it out. So we are going to insert. We're going to go skip this one, go to the next one, insert into the back loop only, and then we're going to go back one, skip this one again, and we're going to go to the back loop of this one and just pull it together, and there we go. So I'm going to tie a knot on the back. And pull that tight. And I like to do at least 2 knots. You can do as many as you want to do, but I like to do 2 just to make sure. Go ahead and secure that, and at this point you will weave in your ends. And so nobody likes weaving in ends, but it's simple. We're just going to weave them in. And there's really no particular method that I use. I just like to kind of make sure that the ends are secure and not going to come undone. So go ahead and cut this excess tail off. And we still have this tail that needs to be weaved in as well. So let's go ahead and do that. We just turn our work around and weave them in on the back. So there's our headband. And what I like to do is I like to embellish my headband. I usually don't leave it plain. And a good place to embellish your headband is right here at that join. You can't really tell too much of where that seam is, but if you look really close, you can tell our seam is about right here. And there is a way to do seamless joins, but I just like the way that looks. It doesn't bother me to have a bit of a seam there. But you can embellish this several different ways. I have this little bow tie that I made, and you can add this little bow tie to it. That's super cute. Also, if you have maybe a flower, I like to wear flowers in my hair. So this is one that I use, and you can simply add that there. And that's really pretty. Or you can take this and you can completely elevate it to the next level. And I actually have one here. I showed you all this one earlier, but if you flip it around, it is actually a minion. So this is a minion headband that I made, and I just used the same pattern from here. I used it here. The only thing is that I changed colors, and I simply added a mouth and an eyeball, and there you have a minion. So you can use this basic half double crochet to make a lot of things. Just use your imagination. And so I hope you all found this tutorial to be helpful. And also you all can, if you have some scrap yarn left, I do have a tutorial on how to make a flower. So you can use that scrap yarn or whatever you have left, and you can crochet a flower. And I will leave a link to that in the description box below as to where that tutorial is, and you can use the rest of your yarn or different yarn and make yourself your very own crochet flower and just add it on to it, and that would be really pretty as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, bye.